drawn in sketches. I can just see that happening with his amazing headdress and all that stuff. It is my pleasure to bring you Stephano. He is in the pink trunks and he is playing Zerg to the east of the Antigua shipyard. Oh yes. Versus his opponent, Complexity MVP, Tails. He's in the orange trunks, playing Protoss to the west and taking the first game in a convincing fashion. Stephano playing a little bit unusually, I'd have to say.
Yeah, indeed, and I know who's the biggest Stephano fan is Mr. Ting, who is watching on the stream as well.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a big Stephano fan, especially after the IPL4 win as well, and a Zerg player himself. Actually, I don't know if you saw it on the stream, actually, he played on the stage a show match versus Lanny, which I think he won, and he loved every moment of that being inside
Oh yeah, I
the
can
booth.
imagine that. Those of you who do not know, David Ting is basically responsible for all of this happening, along with his team at IGN. They started the IGN Pro League. So can we hear some noise for David Ting?
And we do have this forge down here, a 12 forge actually, so relatively fast
Yeah,
here.
very much so.
Is being cautious as well, but at the same time, if he wanted to, he could be aggressive with it, but it's probably not an option because he hasn't sent out a probe already here. So just being super cautious so far in this game, and it looks like Stephano, super standard, throwing down that 15 spawner pool, and is going to go ahead, probably get that hatchery. I mean, probably... definitely going to get that hatchery.
Oh no, he's going to go for the very standard hatchery on 45 supply, which is extremely common in the Bronze League.
And look at this, a super early cannon here. This is super cautious play. And it's really interesting to see this come down. I mean, a lot of the time you want to be scouting directly after that pylon so you can actually get the information so you know. I mean, what happens if Stephano had gotten a hatchery first here? I mean, it is a little bit weird here from Tails to be doing this, and I would love to see what this follow-up is going to be. I mean, if he just goes ahead and just builds a Nexus next, it's like, well, I guess that was a bit of a wasted time, and the Nexus could have been down a lot faster here.
Yeah, it could have been. Also, the position of the cannon is kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, the wall-off right here is on the natural, is on the main ramp as opposed to the natural ramp, which is where you usually expect to at least see a cannon. I mean, there's no way there's going to get, you're going to have a rather large link force in order to actually run by here. Amazingly defensive placement of these buildings.
Yeah, I mean, what we're going to see is the gateway basically wall off here, and usually you'll see a second cannon simply because of the way it's structured, this map. It's a very large, wide open area on this natural. And then you'll even see pylons behind the mineral lines to actually make a wall as well. And that'll be the wall for Tails. So, you know, really early cannon. You know, you could have changed it a little bit, could have adjusted it, but at the same time, it is a little not a mistake, sorry, a little adjustment, which doesn't change that much into the game.
No, it does not.
And double gas now taken as well for Tails here. Over in Stephano's base, no gas has been taken yet, and we may be seeing, we are seeing a super early 4-minute 30, 4-minute 20 here, third hatch without the gas been taken. Really going to be working on his economy here.
Yes, Stephano loves this on Antigua Shipyard. A lot of Zerg are trying to take it, but Stephano in particular loves to take the fast third on Antigua. It's a good map for it. Once you get that third queen out, and of course the fourth queen, you really want to get things rolling. You can easily spread the creep, and it also gives you an exceptional reinforcement point. If you think about where the rally points can go, here, here, and here, and this area right here is where your army is going to be massing up. It's a great area to do it, and the Zerg love to do that. And of course, if they can then hop over to the gold, then they've got that wonderful proxy hatch near the middle of the map.
Yeah, most definitely. And this probe is going to go ahead and scout for that third base, just making sure it is there. Obviously, if it isn't, because he didn't actually go into the main base, so he doesn't know about the gas. And seeing that the hatchery is already halfway complete, he knows that the gas has not been taken yet, just by indirectly scouting this third base. Meanwhile, over into the base of Tails here, we do have the +1 attack on its way. We also have a sentry being made. And this map is usually a rather defensive map in terms of the Protoss play, because it is easy to get a third base here, and especially if you can build a cannon onto the higher ground to help fortify that area, and then you can stabilize on 6 gases. And what 6 gases allows you to do is pretty much anything. You actually have a lot of different varieties you can choose from, and then finally obviously crawling into that gold base in the center and start using the Zalnaga Tower. It's such a great place to be in and to hold, because it's literally 3 force fields and you can control the center of the map.
Yes, you can, and there we go. 2 lings just cleaned up nice and easily there for MVP Tails, and this, on the other hand, starts to get very interesting, adding 3 more gateways on top of that, taking it to a grand total of 4, and he can apply a little bit of pressure here and there. It's not a full 6-gate pressure attack or anything like that, but it is at least the indication that Tails wants to start to move out and start taking some control of the map.
Yeah, and he's going to have a probe in a good position too, which is not got scouted yet, and there is the pylon right next to the gases and the Automaton 2000 here, and he's going to be able to warp units down. And because of the way that Stephano's playing, he actually hasn't got speed. He's gone to layer incredibly fast here, and basically what we're going to see is that very intensive roach style once again from Stephano. But to be honest, before he even gets up there, that is a long time. So these gateways that have come down now for Tails, he can do a little bit of pressure with it, but in reality he doesn't want to do that much because there's obviously only 4 gateways, and will want to fall back onto an expansion shortly. But we will see him move out very, very shortly here to do a bit of damage. And Stephano, the Roach Warren's about to finish. He'll go directly into speed as well as that +1 attack.
Yep, and the probe then being used to scout, getting some reasonable information about the saturation of the third base and potential weak spots, and the fact that there is no spine crawler. An interesting decision by Stephano right here. Put down a blind spore crawler, perhaps suspecting Dark Templar.
And look at this, actually Tails moving on the left-hand side of the smoke there, and Tails goes undetected. Very important to note here, but at the same time, Stephano's already hit a comfort zone with 55 drones and has already started producing units. The thing is, if Tails can lock himself up on the third base and take it out, that would be good, but at the same time, if he does that, he's literally going to be trading his army for it.
Yeah, and will that be worthwhile? We've seen that happen before with Stephano, where he's lost the third and he just hasn't actually given a damn. In fact, it was on Antigua, if I recall correctly. The Roaches coming in from the back. Are there enough forces? There's not an awful lot of them. It's enough to hold back the links just for a while, and those links are actually still slow. They don't have the speed upgrade as of yet, and Tails getting really aggressive against Stephano right now, pushing him all the way back.
And there's, well, basically all the upgrades have not finished yet. Speed's the only one that has finished, but there are a few Zealots here. But as soon as these Zealots get picked off, everything's going to die. There's a lot of units about to come out for Stephano. Yeah,
he's got to deal with this very, very rapidly. There's not a lot of Sentry energy available to finish things off there. The Zealots are now down. Stalker's easily enough to clean up that, but there's a couple of Zealots attacking and destroying sentries where they can, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for this third hatchery to get snapped. He's pulled all the drones off anyway because he thinks, you know what, I'm probably going to lose this. Let's get them the hell out of the way. But still, this is dangerous for Tails. He's losing a lot of units to make this happen.
Yeah, but remember, Stephano is the only one in the world that somehow manages to survive over and over and over. But there is a warp prism been built now, and is just hovering on the natural. Will want to come into play shortly. Potentially drop some units into the main base could be fantastic. But at the same time, 22 Lings and 6 Roaches are about to pot. I'm not sure how long this army of Tails is going to last. And now we do see the warp prism moving across the map. Has been seen by a Ling, but did Stephano even take notice of that?
That is a good question. He's been very, very focused on dealing with that. That is where the warp prism is. Moving across, that Ling is now patrolling. He must have seen it. No, it actually doesn't see it. Sight range of Ling apparently not so great. They really should get the Spec Sabers. More warp-ins coming in, but honestly, that's kind of pointless. There's Lings coming in now and Roaches, so it's a bit of a waste of time right here for Tails, as well as resources. This is what he needs to focus on.
And here comes the warp in, and it has been spotted, and Stephano has a Roach waiting. And I think the better idea would have been to warp in on the lower, well, on the other base just south, and then go in.
Yeah, going for the
kind of brought himself more time, but still he's going to do a bit of damage here and harassment. Meanwhile, the third base is going to be taken here from Tails, and this is a time where he has to be super careful. Do you want to have a look at the unit tab? It says 1 Immortal and 2 Stalkers. That is it. If Stephano was to charge with his 18 Roaches, I don't even think Tails can hold.
No, even warping in from 4 gateways consistently with Chrono Boost, that would be extremely tricky. He has spent a lot of money on tech. He's trying to get a Colossus out as well, but that Colossus has nothing to back it up, and in it comes Stephano with his excellent game sense once again, realizing, I wonder how many units Tails has got, because he threw away a lot trying to kill that third, didn't he? Oh, and he didn't manage it either because I held it. So here it goes. Roach speed is there. He can have a look and see what's going on. He can bunch up these Roaches and then go all for it. And we've seen this against Sarce, and it actually worked incredibly well. So here it goes. And will he be able to take this out? I don't see how Tails could honestly hold this.
Yeah, Stephano's in a fantastic position. Even if the cannon finishes, the Force Heroes will finish at exactly the same time. And look at that, the cannon will immediately get one shot down. And there's no units out. A single Colossus without Thermal Lance can get rushed upon as well. The Roaches are going to turn around and just immediately kill that as well. And Stephano building nothing but units. He's so good on this map. punishes all the Protoss play when they try to grab this early third base.
Yeah, Tails trying to dance away from that, but that's simply not happening. Stephano with plenty of roaches streaming across the field, and yes, it takes a while to get there, but it doesn't matter. Lings to follow that one up. Tails does not have anything to stop this. He invested far too much in trying to take out the third. Stephano held it really well, and now roach after roach is crashing down. Another Colossus coming up, but really a Colossus on its own without range upgrade, not a good counter to roaches. You can see exactly what's happening to the base of MVP Tails right now.
Yeah, and he's going to lose a lot of probes here in the unit tab kill. 22 probes. Oh my god, Stephano's doing a lot of damage here. And the thermal lance will finish, but who cares, because he's got no economy whatsoever. And even though he'll slowly push Stephano out, Stephano's droning up. Stephano can take a fourth base if he wants. He's still at 55 drones, stays at that relatively low drone count, but now will immediately shoot back up. He's throwing down the Spire as well, can easily go into Corruptors, can easily go into Mutalisk, whatever he wants from here.
Yeah, third Nexus is absolutely down. He's even able to slide past the force fields. Was not good enough at all. Trying to focus fire on this Colossus. One is taken down. The second one is almost there. Tails manages to get back to higher ground safely, but really, what else has he got to stop that roach ball from coming in and continuing to stream units across the map? Stephano smashes his way through the natural expansion, taking out as many probes as he possibly can. The single Colossus doing as much as it can to hold back this tide of roaches, and of course Stephano could secure the gold base on the back of this. He doesn't need to win right now. He could simply get further and further ahead.
He's killed 40 probes and a third Nexus. I think that's pretty far ahead in my books for sure.
Yeah,
even though the Colossus started clearing it up eventually, he's got the Spire about to finish. He can start saving gas now if he wants to. He can even mine from this fourth base very, very shortly from the gases as well. He can quite happily sit in the center of the map now and once again do whatever he wants to do. There are the gases slowly going to be taken, and then I don't know. This is going to be so hard for Tails to do. I mean, looking at the unit tab, he's down at 30 probes. He doesn't want to give up, though. He said in the interview pre-game he doesn't want to lose a single game because that makes it so impossible, because then he's only one game away from losing everything.
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately, dragging this game out is perhaps going to tire out Tails more than it will Stephano. Stephano really doesn't have to do an awful lot here other than just macro build roaches and move into the base. And Stephano has had a lot more time to rest before this. Tails has been playing game after game. It's going to be difficult. That Nexus will be sniped. Nothing can be done to stop it. Colossus DPS is not enough against pure roach. It's as simple as that. And where exactly does Tails mine from now?
He doesn't mine apart from the main. I mean, we now have Corruptors on the way as well. And now we're going to see a bit of a push from Tails here, which won't really go down too well with this Zerg army. It's literally twice the size right now. And as soon as Corruptors come into the mix, the Colossus will finally go down. There's nothing to prevent the Corruptors from actually taking these down. He's got a few sentries here, but obviously sentries not the best counter to Corruptors at all.
No, that simply will not do the job. 40 more Lings to follow this one up as well. Just spending his lava and trying to spend his money. In fact, I think Stephano actually is having problems spending all his money. He's going to have a maxed out army, I think, before this even goes anywhere. And floating over 1,000 resources simply because he can. That's 176 to 74 in terms of the supply. Tails is even supply capped at the moment, so yeah, it doesn't matter. He can't spend the money that he doesn't have.
These trio of Colossus are going to go down pretty fast here, unfortunately. And look at that, just complete surround.
Oh, this is brutal. Any of you Protoss players out there are cringing right now. The Colossi fell very easily. GG.
GG, and Stephano one game away from $10,000.